Most women are really nervous because they feel like there's just a huge gap on how much money they need, the money gap. So they feel like, oh, I need all this money and I have this amount of money and oh, I don't have enough. It's probably like one of the number one questions I get is how much money do I need to live there? Or I don't have enough money yet. Or I need to retire first because I need this pension. I need the highest shares. So these are the conversations people are having. But it's not necessarily, Polly, that you don't have enough money in terms of dollars and cents. You don't have enough money to make you feel secure. The money that you're having coming in, it doesn't give you the peace and security that you need to make the next step. And that is what's causing the delay. So, yes, you want to move, you know how much money you have, but you're still wondering, is that enough? Is that enough money to really live off of? Because you realize that once you move, that perhaps maybe the opportunities to make more money are going to be diminishing. And they could, or they could not. But there's a sense of once I move, that's it. I'm never going to make any more money. And that's not necessarily true. Because I talk about all the ways to make money, even once you move. I've shown you that, and I will continue to show you that. But what I want you to understand is that while you are considering moving, the money gap that you have is more about stability. And so let's talk about how we can understand what we need, what we have, and how to close that gap. How do we close that gap so we can have a place of stability and peace so we can move? Because when we don't, when we just continue to just wallow in that middle place, the gap of not knowing how much I need, how can I be stable, we're still living. We are still living every day. And what we're doing is we're still running up costs that's delaying us from getting where we want to go. We're spending money in places that we should not be spending money in because we're not spending money where we want to or where we should. And so we are perhaps maybe finding ourselves so obsessed about the cost of living of where we're going that we're not focusing on the cost of living of where we are now and how we can make adjustments to that to help us get to where we're going. We're also so obsessed about if I'm moving, then I should not spend any money, right? So we kind of go from this, we kind of go from one area to the next, right? And so anything we're spending money on now, we're feeling guilty about. Well, maybe I shouldn't do this or maybe I shouldn't do that because I need that money to move because we don't know how much we need. And so we're not really enjoying ourselves in this middle. The middle is never really a good place, pretty much for any part of our lives. It's usually when we make a decision and we start going towards that decision or at that decision. So while you're in this murky middle of trying to get from where you are here to your destination goal of moving, let's be clear what's happening in the middle. So yes, you can still enjoy your life while you're planning, but do it intentionally. Spend money on things that really bring you joy. Because otherwise you're spending money on things that are not necessarily bringing you joy, and it's causing you not to get to where you want to go. And it's also causing you to delay. You're delaying where you want to go. So tell yourself this: when I'm clear about where I'm going, how much I need, everything I do in between there is going to get me there. So then you're spending your money intentionally. You're buying things at this stage in your life to help you in the next stage. I have a person I listen to all the time, and she always says, will your 80-year-old self say thank you for the purchase you made today? That's a good way of asking yourself about the purchases you're making. So when you are thinking about the things that you need in your today life, in your dream, ask yourself, would your relocation self think that that was a good purpose? Or how does that purchase align with your relocation? Does that help you get there quicker? Does it help you, or is it delaying it because now you've put yourself in greater debt? or you're spending money with someone else, or you're spending money on someone else, and it's not helping you get to where you want to go. So let's think about this. If you're trying to close your money gap, you're trying to figure out how much money you need and how to have it there safely. How to get to a place where you can feel safe about the money that you're getting in, that's coming in. So I talked about understanding your numbers. How much is coming in? How much is going out? How much is fixed? That even after you move abroad, that money will still be coming in. And how much is flexible money? That may be and I'm going to call your employment today probably flexible, unless you have a job that you're going to take with you. You can work from anywhere kind of job. And so that money that you're making today, it may be fixed today, but may not be fixed in your next stage. What other money do you have coming in that is not necessarily going to continue? Maybe you also have income from some side hustle jobs. And that's the thing. You have some work that you're doing here. Are you still going to be able to do that work when you move? So that's something you want to understand. You want to understand your debt, right? And just understanding what debt is good debt and what debt is helping you to get to where you want to go. So maybe you took out a debt consolidation loan, and so you were able to reduce the interest rate on some other debts that you have. Understanding your debt and knowing how much that debt is costing you every month. And so if you have high interest credit cards that are 20% or more, is there a way that you can move it to a lower interest credit card? So this way, that debt is not costing you as much. You still have the $20,000, $40,000, whatever that debt is, $5,000, but now the interest rates are lower, so it's not costing you as much. That is one of the things that you want to monitor. That's helping you close your gap. Understanding that debt can sometimes cause us to be in such stress that we're not necessarily thinking clearly about how to get out of it. We just want to get out. And I'm pretty sure you've heard about all the different ways to get out of debt, from the snowball method to the avalanche method, right? The snowball method is when you're paying off your smaller debts first. The avalanche method is when you're paying off your higher interest rates first. Whichever way you want to do it, have a plan on how you want to get out of debt. That is something I continuously hear from women, from clients who are coming in saying, I want to get out of debt first. Have a really good debt plan. And the other thing you want to think about is how you're going to stabilize your money. And so when you're thinking about stabilizing your money, it's not necessarily that you need to have, the same kind of income, but understand how much income you need, what's predictable, what's reliable, what's sustainable. What can you rely on every single month? Whether you're sick, whether you're feeling happy, whether you don't want to get out of the bed, whether you stay in the bed, that money is going to come in. That's predictable. What's reliable? Pretty much is going to happen. What's sustainable? No matter what happens in the world, right, this money is going to continue to come in. It's sustainable because you created a plan, right, of that money coming in. So those are things that you want to think about. Put some structure around the money that you have, because structure, I used to have a coach that used to say, structure brings freedom. Because when you have that freedom, because structure is taking place, and that's even where, like, if you have this moving your relocation fund, right? Do you have money every single month going in there automatically where you don't have to think about it, right? That is structure, and that structure brings you freedom. And so also structure, when you know what's going on, you know what my expenses are, you know what your debt is, you know what your income is. It also kind of alleviates some of that fear that you're having, and it helps you close that gap. Because that gap is probably a lot of the unknowing. That's not bringing you peace. When you move, one of the things people think about, and I said in the beginning, is, oh my gosh, I won't be able to make money again. And that's not true. You can still make money. But why it brings a lot of fear for women who are considering moving abroad is because they know that sometimes they have gotten themselves in a pickle financially, and they've done little quick side hustles, everything from Instacart to Uber to, I don't know, DoorDash or whatever it is. And this is the gig economy. And that opportunity may not be available to them as they're going over into other countries. Even though that opportunity may not be available, there are other ways that you can still make money. So don't feel like you are at the last time of generating income. And if you're a person who says, once I move, I don't ever want to work again, fine. Know the numbers that are going to get you there. No one is saying that you have to continue to work, but if you want to make additional income, understand that those opportunities are still going to be available to you. They do not go away simply because you move. What happens is when you understand what's happening in the middle, in the gap, and you know how to get out of the middle and get to your destination, fear starts to go away. You start to feel a lot more certain about your move. The uncertainty that we're having right now for many women is because they can't answer a lot of questions about cost, about sustainability, about predictability when it comes to their money. And when they understand that, it brings peace and the fear starts to go away. So I want you to say this to you. You don't have to have it totally figured out. Join us in one of our sessions with the Bougie Expat where we are figuring it out. We're helping you to figure this out, where we have the budget tracker that actually goes through what your budget is. We help you figure out your cost of living so you know exactly how much it's going to cost you to live in a particular country. And then we also have our business specialist who helps you identify ways that you can make money. We don't want you to continue to sit in that middle. We want you to get out of that middle, but that requires you to take just simple action of showing up for a session. So if that's you, just drop something in the chat, send me a message, and I would love to chat with you to show you how you can get out of that middle. But until then, if you are saying, I'm not ready to really take that deep dive, you still want to be on the surface, go ahead and continue to watch the videos. I will continue to share information with you to help you close that money gap. I want you to close that money gap because I want you to relocate. I am invested in your dream because this dream should be a goal, something that you have given a deadline, a timeline to, so you can achieve it. This only happens when you take action. Every Tuesday, we are sharing with women how they can relocate. Join us. It's at 7:30 in the evening and find out how you can close your money gap and you can live the life that you always imagined. I'm Sable, your bougie girlfriend. And until next time, live an elevated life.